guys. Oh, cool. Welcome to Tedi Unscripted. Thank you. Welcome to Tedi Unscripted. We have slightly a sappy day for me. First of all, I hope you're having a good day. Unfortunately, we're going to have a guest on today. I know I've been hyping him up for a while. We're going to take a slight break on it. Life happens, things happen. We keep going, as Dawn and Freddie say, you keep going, and we'll get it out another week. So I am really excited for the alien show that is going to come up. But today I thought I would do a little bit of a sappy piece, I want to say, because if you don't know, obviously the show's been on for a little while, and we've been sharing it out to all of our pages, and I haven't shared it out to my personal Facebook page because I was really scared to, because this is something that to me is very personal, and it's a lot of me venting and rambling and speaking to people about their very personal lives. And for lack of better words, I was really scared that I was going to get made fun of for it, because I think from the time that people in millennial Gen Z, especially Gen Z generations, and I'm kind of on the cusp, are little, we've all been watching YouTube. You grow up with the YouTubers and the reality TV people. And if you ever tell someone, I want to do that, I want to go on YouTube, I want to put my opinion out there and put my voice out there, you get made fun of. You get told, what do you have to say? What are you going to say that's interesting? Oh, you're going to be, basic like those people? Really? Oh, you're going to talk like that? You're going to froof up everything? Or you're kind of told that what you say doesn't matter. And luckily, I have a very supportive friend group and family group that I didn't deal with that a lot when I was younger. But you're still taught it from, even there was a whole show on Nickelodeon that was about people with their own show and them always getting ripped on for it. And what kind of position does that put our youth in when one of the big dreams that people want to do is they want to be in TV and production and videos and stuff, and we're telling them that that's vain and that's weird and lame, and you're expected to, your first video, have 80,000 views on it, and you're on YouTube and you're famous, instead of being able to just say, oh, I've got 10 views, that's really good, and you should be proud of yourself for it. And if you haven't seen last week's show, I spoke with one of my good friends, Daniela Mafia, about her upcoming podcast, Mental Breakdown. And she shared some really raw, really rough life stories of hers and how it was growing up, and the lessons that she wants people who might be in the same situation to learn. And I realized that I really want people to hear this, and I have some people on Facebook who I thought maybe they really need to hear this. And so last week I kind of, manned up, and I decided I'm going to share this out to Facebook. And I would like the world to see and hear what Daniela has to say. And if I get, for some reason, ripped on in the process, then, so be it. This is more important. And I was so blown away and shocked at the positive reaction I got from everyone. I just really want to give a big thank you to everyone who watches the show and who is just now finding out about it, or who saw my Facebook page and instead of saying anything rude, like, a lot of people were really supportive of it, and people who I haven't spoken to in a long time came forward and they were very supportive about it. A lot of people said, I would like to be on the show. And people were saying, I have a story to tell, and very much like how people come to Dawn and Freddie for the Brooklyn Cafe. I never realized that people my age felt the same way as I did, because we're kind of pressured to not talk about that, And I knew from working at this production company that people in the older demographic, they have their small businesses. And even I knew people with small businesses kind of had a story to tell, they wanted to promote their stuff, but I never really put together that people my age felt the same way that I did, and that they just want to vent out their stories because you maybe don't want to you feel like you're bugging someone when you tell them, or you feel like you're ranting and rambling, kind of like I feel. And to have so many people agree with me and say, I also want to be on your show. I had a bad childhood, or I had a spiritual awakening, or I had a yoga thing that I do that I want to share with the world that means a lot to me. to have people come forward and say that they also wanted to do that and they didn't have an outlet to was something that's really special to me. So I wanted to do a big thank you for everyone who is very positive about this and who is sharing it out. And I know my grandmother is probably watching. She is the absolute biggest fan of the show. So thank you, Bubby. But also, like I said, people who I haven't spoken to in years, people who, I met in college, and I'm actually one of the ones I'm speaking about. I'm going to have on probably in 2 weeks, which I'm very excited about. But I haven't spoken to in years. Maybe I had one class with them, and the small reaching out of like, hey, you're amazing. You got this. I broke down last night crying because I was just so emotional and thankful for that, because I'm thankful that I get the position to be here to share my stories and the little things I see and my little grievances. And I'm thankful that now I know there's other people who want that, and I can invite them on and have them share their grievances and all that. And instead of this being what I always thought of YouTubers, and which is nothing wrong with, if that's what makes you happy, it makes you happy. But in my mind, anytime I thought of someone who did this, who shared stories, or YouTuber, it was with a glittery background. I went off my mic. A glittery background and fairy lights, and they're doing makeup and a get ready with me, or they're sitting down doing controversy, which is awesome. But I never thought that it could just be me rambling to a camera and people saying, wow, that's really awesome. I relate to that. I feel that way too. Especially in a time of quarantine when we don't get to have that human connection with people that we don't live with. It's how do you get that same connection? I mean, my best friend and I talk on the phone at least once a week. We try and call each other. One of my sisters and I call each other. Animal Crossing just got a lot of new fish, so we've been on the phone for hours, but it's still not that same connection of heart to heart. This is what I'm feeling. I can't break down. She can't break down. We can't have that physical, I don't want to say connection or touch, but the physical, emotional energy, whatever it is that connects you to each other, it's just not the same when it's over the phone. And it's not the same when it's over FaceTime or when it's over text. And for a while, you're like, that's fine if someone moves away, if someone, is on vacation, you can deal with it for a while. But when we're so isolated in this quarantine, I think a lot of people have felt this for a while, and I'm lucky enough that I am an essential worker who's not on the front lines, so we are able to quarantine in our little studio. I don't come in unless it's just Dawn and Freddie also in here, because that's how I feel it's safest to prevent the spread of this virus. So I'm lucky with that, and I've had the physical, physically spoken with people. And I live with my parents and with 3 dogs, so I haven't been super isolated. But people have been speaking to me recently about how they live alone in their apartment and they can't find an animal to foster because animal fosterings have gone up so much. It's hard to find one. And I think it's really something important to think about, and to, just like I said, the little messages that you can send to those people who are living alone, or maybe who live with not that great of a situation, roommates, family, whatever, to reach out to them, because I've never had to be that person. I'm usually the person who sees someone as having an issue and reaches out to them and is like, hey, are you okay? Can I help you in any way? And to now be the person that someone had to reach out to and say, hey, you're doing really great. I'm really proud of you. It changed my entire perspective on what's going on and how people could be feeling, how people could be acting, how we're realizing that maybe the friends we're with all the time aren't not that they're not our real friends, but we're not as close with them as we could be. We're not as emotionally connected with them as we could be. And it's making a lot of people want to reach out. And I know a few weeks ago I talked about exes reaching out, and I still go by that. Stop, don't do it. But it has us realizing that, remember that person that was really funny like 6 years ago in our freshman year of college, and she was in like that one intro class? I wonder how she's doing. I would like to reach out to her, and it really can make all of the difference. It can do everything with it. And you can always help someone. It's never going to hurt to just text someone, hey, how are you doing? Worst case scenario, they don't answer you, in which case, all right. Best case scenario, you could really help them with something. And I don't mean to get so deep and so sappy into this because I'm not that kind of person, but it really did touch me a lot. So I just kind of wanted to do a good segment on thanking everyone for that. And, a good segment on, I don't know what to talk about. Not that I don't know what to talk about, but I don't know what people want to hear. I have so many guests now lined up, and I'm so thankful for that I've kind of been staying in and I've been scheduling things. I'm very excited. I'm going to speak to Miss St. Petersburg today to try and get her on soon. I might do a special little surprise episode on Monday to get a little interview with that. Like I said, I have people coming out of the woodwork. I have some small businesses that I'm going to bring on, I believe, for Wednesday's show. I have a girl coming on who does absolutely amazing artwork. It's artwork that you can use. I know you've seen it. I know Don and Freddie have them, the personalized tumblers, and I wanted one for so long. And I don't want to give away her shop name or anything because we'll leave that for her when she comes on. But I found her, and just like I find a lot of things very organically, this jacket I found, someone was selling it on the street in Miami, and I was just like, yeah, no, cold, give it to me. And they ended up being one of my favorite little, not designers, but customization places. And I found her through my work and hit it off. She told me that she makes these tumbler cup personalized things, and she did absolutely amazing on it. It is so perfect. And like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it because I will come back on Wednesday when she comes up and talk about it more. But I don't know. I want to hear what you guys want me to talk about because now that I know that I'm going to be on my personal page. I have my own Facebook page. I have so many outlets now that I never thought that I would have. I'm eventually going to make a YouTube channel for this show that I have now so many people who have already reached out to me positively. I want to know what they want me to talk about. What do you want to hear? Because I can always talk about what I see. I see ridiculous things. I go out for most of my family. I do the shopping because I want them to stay inside. I want them to stay quarantined. I've seen people rip open holes in their masks because they wanted to breathe better. I have seen people with just their shirts up around their mouth thinking that that's a mask. I have seen the most ridiculous things of people trying to stay safe but not actually caring. I've seen people protesting that the virus isn't real while wearing a mask and gloves, which I think we've all seen those videos, which I just want to put a small thing right now. If you think the virus isn't real, you can message me and we can fight about that because that is something I cannot stand. It is so absolutely ridiculous that there are marches going on that are blocking ambulances because people don't think this is real and they want to go get their hair done and they want to go get their nails done and they want to these vain things that I understand they're important. They're important to me too. I would also like to get my hair done. I would also like to get my nails done. But I understand that the cost of a hospital bill of somebody that I love dying is a little more than that. I know that right now for some genuinely unknown reason to me, we feel that, the numbers are lightening in America. We can start reopening because I truly don't believe they are. I think that people are just realizing that they're not going to get tested, so they're not getting tested. Because there's a testing center by my house. I pass it every day when I drive here. And it's like a 2-hour line. And this line goes for like a mile and a half of people waiting in line to get tested. Like, if I saw that and I, for some reason, knock on wood, thought I could be sick, I'm probably not going to wait in that line. I'm going to have to find some other way to do it. I think people aren't getting tested enough. That's a story for another time. But right now, I don't think the atmosphere should be as calm as it is. But I can't control what you do. All I can give is advice. So I advise that if you can, stay home. I know that that's not an option. I recently got put in that position for my other job that I was working at, where they were very kind, and I'm very grateful that they were so thoughtful and kind and asked. And they said, hey, it looks like we might be able to open up soon. Who is comfortable coming back to work? And some people were saying yes. Some people were saying maybe. I was like, I'm not coming back yet. It's way too soon. I do not feel safe. And they were very awesome and they were very understanding. And they said, I understand. Please come back when you can. When you feel it's safe, let us know. We will put you back on the schedule. But for now, we're going to, remove you from our group chat. And I said, that's fine. I totally understand. And then I started getting messages from my other friends saying, and not just from this job, from multiple jobs, saying, I need to go back to work because I need the money because I can't afford to live. I can't afford rent. I can't afford food without the money from this job. But I'm so scared that I am not going to be able to stay healthy. I have a friend who had to quit their job because their job was not offering anything. You either worked or you didn't because it was an essential food place. And they said, I had to quit my job and now I'm living barely, they're just giving them like sick pay kind of. And they're like, I can't see my grandmother because I worked there and I have to isolate for 2 weeks until I can see my grandmother, which is why they had to quit the job in the first place. I mean, it's a bad situation for everyone because the owners, especially if you're a small business owner, you need the money too. And I understand that. You can't lay it all on the business owners, just like we can't always lay rent forgiveness on the landlords. Landlords need to pay their mortgages just like business owners need to pay the rent. They need to pay the costs that they have. Even though the business is closed doesn't mean that there's no costs coming in. And so they're in a bad position because they need that money. They need their business up and running as much as they can the second they can. But the employees are now also put in a bad situation of, do I go back to work and make money or do I stay safe? What's more important to me? And at some point, everyone's got to make the decision. If you're lucky enough that you can work at home, that's super awesome. I work remotely some days for here. And that is an awesome privilege that I think people forget is a privilege because not everyone can do it. And I understand the dichotomy of when you're in a good position, when you can work from home, you're always saying, stay home, stay home, stay home. Don't go out. There's no reason to go out. But when you're not in a position where you can work from home, if you're in a job where you have to be out, where you need to work and your job is not essential, so you're sitting there trying to work, trying to make money, but everyone's screaming at you to stay home. Again, where does the line draw of, I want to riot, I need to work, I'm going to be out on the streets or starve, and I need to stay inside, I need to be healthy. And the more which side you're on tends to give what job you have, whether you can work at home. And I want to say I understand. And I want to say that there's not really an answer to that. I wish I could give one. I wish I could have some more input on what to do, but nobody knows right now. And again, I'm lucky that I'm in this position where I can be at work and still quarantined, but I have a lot of friends who aren't, who are in the middle of that decision, who are terrified because they, like I said, they need to go back, but they don't want to get sick. But I need to pay rent, but I won't be able to see my family for weeks. And you don't know how to tell your bosses, hey, I need money, but I don't want to work. I don't want to be near people. You can't just ask them for something without a plan of what you're willing to give. But if you don't have a job where you can give from home, what are you going to do? And again, I wish I had an answer for this. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's really important that I do share out the show to my personal page and all that, because this is why I have a lot of people my age who watch this who are also, maybe they have an answer. And if you're watching this and you have an answer and you know what you should do and you are like, that's a dumb question, this is what you should do, write it in the comments and I will read it and respond to it and talk about it on the next show, because I don't know. And I don't want people to think that they're alone in feeling that they're scared, or alone that feeling the stress of being homeless and not being able to make enough money. And if you are in this position, I would like to say, we spoke about it, Dawn and Freddie spoke about it on our morning show, Feeding America, or feedingsouthflorida.org. If you want to go back on the Brooklyn Cafe, the Breakfast at the Cafe show today, we had some amazing people on. We had a state representative on for plantation. And then we also had one of the people who work at Feeding South Florida, and they have a bunch of food banks that are going around that if you can't go in, they will send food to your home. And it's for just people who can't afford food. We can't keep thinking of this. And again, this was a realization that I had. We can't keep thinking of needing food as you're homeless, you have no money, because at this point, people need food and they can't get it. And I don't care what label you want to give that. I don't care what kind of huge house you're living in and what salary you made before this. If you don't have the savings, you can't afford that food. you need to go to them. And if you have the money and you have the savings and you want to help, you can go to feedingsouthflorida.org. It's like $19, pays for like 136 meals, I believe, which is absolutely huge. They're going through hundreds of thousands of meals a day, delivering them to people's houses, dropping them off. I mean, the state representative that was on, Michael Gottlieb, was standing there, and we see videos of him packing the boxes with everyone else. Everyone's trying to pull together to help. And even if you are on the side of work or health and you choose health, that is awesome. If you choose work, I understand. But if you choose health and you have to stay at home and you're having trouble paying, there are outlets for you. They have hundreds of food banks all over South Florida. There are options that you can get food and you at least one stressor that is off your shoulders. And if you're in a position like I am, where I'm lucky to do this, and I know a lot of people who are watching are probably in that position, feedingsouthflorida.org. $19. I know they're doing a challenge right now of like 19 push-ups, tag 19 people. I can't do 19 push-ups. I can't. I'm not, I'm out of shape. I haven't been to the gym since quarantine started. They have closed down. I can't do 19 push-ups. I'm going to give the $19. And it helps so many families when you're in a position. It's the least, in my mind, it's the least I can do to help these people who need it and who can't get their, I don't know how else to say it. I keep trying to change up so I don't sound repetitive, but help people. I don't know how hard I have to ask people for it to just help. One of my friends has started making bread and just giving it away to anyone because you can't find bread on the shelves, and they're vegan. So they have, a lot more recipes and options that they can do. Cause I know eggs are really hard to come by. Butter's really hard to come by. Milk. They're vegan. They make vegan bread. And for any of their friends or anyone in their neighborhood who is having issues getting bread and getting fed, they're at least making that. And I am going to hopefully be starting a new segment with them. I'm going to be filming it next week, and we're going to do an affordable vegan cooking from your pantry, because vegan stuff right now is a lot easier to get. I know that the look on meat from the meat companies right now with the sterilization is very controversial. I personally have kind of started steering away from any kind of meat because of that. So vegan stuff is getting, it doesn't have to be. I'm not asking people to eat fake meat and fake tofu and whatever, because I know that some people don't like it if it's not cooked correctly. And I personally can't cook very well. I can bake, I can't cook. So I go online and I see these recipes of like how to make tofu taste like chicken. And I'm like, I will try that. And it's just a mass on the plate because I can't do it. But MJ can, and so I'm going to be filming a segment with them where we go right into their pantry, we look what's there, they grab it, and they're going to make a budget-friendly, easy pantry vegan meal that we're going to try. We're going to try and just do huge things of it so you can meal prep it, because that's the other thing. I don't want to cook. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. I don't want to cook. So it's much easier when you mass produce everything. You just meal prep it, and we're at home. You don't have an excuse anymore to be like, I don't have time to spend 3 hours cooking. There's no excuse anymore. Meal prep it, throw it in the freezer, heat it up when you're ready. It's so much easier, and it's going to make a huge difference when now, we're all sitting at home. Like I said, the gym's closed. I don't know about anyone else. I have gained a little bit of weight during it. I'm not very happy about it. So this is also just kind of like a selfish thing for me to be like, MJ, teach me how to cook vegan. I would like to be healthy. But I think it's also really cool because it's hard for me to find easy vegan recipes. Not that I am vegan, but I don't think it's a bad position or place to go in eventually. But it's a cool idea to be able, instead of having to go on Pinterest, to be easy vegan recipes. No. For beginners, no. Five ingredients or less, no. So I can have people write in, what do you want to see on that segment? What do you want us to cook? And again, it'll just help so much. You can go to anywhere. I'm going to go to Thomas Farms before we film. They have $10 boxes of beautiful fresh veggies. And you can pay a little extra for whatever special they have that day. Beautiful fresh veggies. Bring that over. We're going to do a $10 meal. Just veggies and like rice, stuff that you have in your home. But it's going to be more than veggies and rice because I personally can't eat just veggies and rice and every day. It drives me crazy. But look forward to that. I believe I'm out of time. Make sure to stay tuned to 2020 on the Facebook page because What's the Buzz with B is coming up. And again, just I know it was a really sappy, venti episode, show, whatever, but I want to thank everyone for watching. And hopefully on Monday we'll have our very special guest of Miss St. Petersburg. If not, check out Wednesday for our small business of the week. And I will see you guys on Monday, Wednesday, whenever.